Okay, students, welcome to my channel DJ to Learn with Mukesh. So, today in this video, we are going to learn a new chapter from NCERT Class 5th English book, that is Marigold, and the name of the chapter is Gulliver's Travels. This is an autobiography of Lemuel Gulliver. So, today in this video, we are going to know about Gulliver's Travel, the autobiography. So without being late, let us start today's video. So what will be the objectives of today's lesson? First one, to make learning spontaneous and joyful. Second one, to develop reading and understanding of the lesson. To read, explain and narrate the story. To identify degrees of adjectives and use them to compare between two or among more than two things. To use punctuation marks effectively. Vocabulary will be enriched by learning the new words, their meanings, and proper use. To develop imagination skill among students to share adventure and fancy. So before starting the lesson, I will ask you some questions. Children, do you like to travel to different places? I like. Yes, I am fond of that. I like to visit new places. You also, I think you might have also, you also like to travel different places. Yes, everyone like, right? Everyone likes. Next question. What if you travel to a strange land? Yes, students, I will feel surprised, I'm afraid and feel fascinated. Students, will you feel such surprise, afraid and fascinated when you travel to a strange land? Yes, obviously you will face this situation. You will be surprised, afraid and fascinated, right? So what does surprised, afraid and fascinated means? Let us see. Surprised. Here you can see the picture. The child is surprised, right? By looking at something or someone. He is surprised. Next, fascinated. Here you can see the child is fascinated because he has seen something which was not seen by him before. So he is fascinated, right? And here the child is afraid, right? The girl child is afraid. So when a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. So Gulliver, a sailor, was once caught in the land of giants. This is how he describes his experience in the story, in the novel, in the book Gulliver's Travel. Do you know, students, Gulliver's Travel, the novel, was written by Jonathan Swift. He is the author. Okay. His time period was 30 November 1667 to 19th October 1745. He was the writer of the novel Gulliver's Travel, Jonathan Swift. So students, Gulliver was actually, he was what we call surgeon, but later he became captain of several ships. Then he eager to travel different parts of the world. Okay, so he traveled so many parts, and all those are divided into four parts. I will show you the story, that means the novel written by Jonathan Swift. Okay, we can see, just wait. Here you can see the novel by Jonathan Swift. Okay, you can see the table of content. Here you can see, okay, divided into four parts. Part 1, a voyage to Lilliput. Part 2, a voyage to Brobdingnag. Part 3, a voyage to Laputa Balnivarbi, Lugnak, okay, Glovdub Drip, and Japan. And part 4, a voyage to the country of the Homans. So, Gulliver traveled to different parts of the world, and all those travels are divided into 4 parts. Okay, okay, again we will continue from there. Okay, students. So, Gulliver travels into several remote nations of the world in 4 parts. Okay, his full name was Lemuel Gulliver. First a surgeon, then he became captain of several ships later. Better known as Gulliver's Travel. The story book, the novel. Okay, it is a novel by Anglo-Irish writer name is Jonathan Swift. Okay, so you can read better the novel. You can go through the book. Okay, you can know about all his journeys, travels. Okay, precisely. Here I have only mentioned a few points about his journey. Okay, a voyage to Lilliput. During his first voyage, Gulliver is washed ashore after a shipwreck and finds himself a prisoner of a race of people less than 6 inches high, who are inhabitants of the neighboring and rival countries of Lilliput. Okay, his ship was broken and he was captured by the Lilliputians. They were 6 inches height. Okay, they were what we call trapped Gulliver in a net. They were what we call uh, tied Gulliver. Okay, you can see, you can also search in YouTube. You can see the video. I have already shown you in class. Okay, or you can read the book. Okay, Voyage to Lilliput. Okay, this is all about Lilliput. You can see how the Lilliputians, okay, have tied Gulliver in the picture. You can see. And the next is a voyage to Brobdingna. When the sail is adventure is steered off course by storms and forced to go in to land for want of fresh water, Gulliver is abandoned by his companions and found by a farmer who is 72 feet, that means 22-meter tall. This story is in your book. Okay, we will discuss the chapter, the story. Okay, from your book, that is Voyage to Brobdingnan. Okay, we will discuss the story precisely. Then voyage to Laputa also. After Gulliver's ship is attacked by pirates, he is marooned close to a desolate rocky island near India that is called Laputa. Okay. Fortunately, he is rescued by the flying island of Laputa, a kingdom devoted to the arts of music and mathematics. Okay, Laputa was rich in art of music and mathematics, but unable to use them for practical ends. Gulliver helped them, right? Laputa's method of throwing rocks at rebellious surface cities also, since the first time that aerial bombardment was conceived as a method of warfare. So the people were rich in art of music and mathematics. They were using throwing rocks. I will show you the picture. While there, he tours the country as the guest of low-ranking courtier and sees the ruin brought about by blind pursuit of science without practical result. Okay, they were blind belief, and Gulliver cleared their blind belief. Okay, so Gulliver get famous there. You can see this is the what we call Laputa's throwing rock. You can see here. Okay, okay, students. Now we will discuss the story from your book. So first of all, we will discuss some new words. Okay, after that we will discuss the story. So first word is biography. Biography means a detailed description of a person's life. Jivani. Sentence: he is writing the biography of his father. Then autobiography means the story of a person's life written by that person. मतलब when a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. Atmajivani, Atmacharit. Okay. Wings of Fire is the autobiography of Abdul Kalam. You can see the picture at the corner. Okay. Then giant means an extremely large, strong person. That is giant. Okay. You can see picture of a giant. There is a picture red color giant. Okay. Yetis are the giants of Himalayas. Next is inhabitant means a person who inhabits in a particular place or occupant. K.R. Narayan is an inhabitant of Kerala. Okay, we are inhabitant of Parlakemdi, right? District Gajbadeh. Vessel means a hollow container for holding liquids. Sentence: a pot is a vessel for holding food. Okay, we can keep food inside the pot. Then fence means a barrier that serves to enclose an area. He has put up a fence around his garden. Okay, you can see, to protect crops or flowering plants from the animals. Okay. Then struck means to hit somebody or something. The stone struck him on the head. Utmost means the greatest possible degree. That means he tried his utmost to win the match. Okay, he tried his utmost to clear the session ending exam. Okay, you can write also. Then explore means inquire into. I like to explore new places. Okay. Then barren means land with no vegetation. We can't use barren for producing any crop. Okay. In barren land, if you sow anything, no vegetation will occur there. You will not get any crop in return. Okay. Rocky means full of rocks. This is a rocky land. Okay. 12 dozen means 12. Ramesh bought 2 dozens of banana. Here you can see 1 dozen of egg. Okay, there are 12 eggs. 12 eggs means 1 dozen. Then crew means a group of people who work together. The crew of the Rajdhani Express do their work sincerely. Okay. Here you can also see a crew. Okay. Then row means to move a boat through the water using long thin pieces of wood with flat parts at the end. Those are called oars. Okay. So he rowed us across the Hussein Sagar Lake. Monster means a creature that is large, ugly, and frightening. You can see picture of the monster. The monsters were 8 feet high. Okay. Steep means rising or falling quickly at a sharp angle. I don't think I can cycle up that hill because it is too steep. Okay. Hedge means a row of bushes or trees planted close together at the edge of a garden or field to separate one piece of land from another. You can see hedge in the picture, the last picture. Okay. It is here is nothing. It is a collection or row of bushes. Okay, trees planted close together. Okay, at the edge of a garden or field to separate one piece of land from another. Next, chase means go after with the intent to catch. You can see the dog is chasing the cat. Astonishment means greatly surprised. He dropped his book in astonishment. Okay. Approach means to come nearer to somebody or something. Sentence: the day of the exam approached. Scream means utter a loud, especially of pain, fear, or anger or excitement. Okay. Screams of laughter are being heard from the theater. Okay. When action scene is there in the theater, theater means cinema hall. When action scene is there, hero is there. Okay. Villain is there. Okay. Fighting is being occurred. Then you can see, you can hear screams of laughter. Okay. Excitement, right? Curiosity means a state in which you want to learn more about something. The boy opened the letter out of curiosity. Okay, when you were sent into hostel, okay, you read by staying at hostel, and your parents send you letter, okay, or call. You are eager to receive the call or read the letter, what they have written or what they may say in a call. You will be feel eagerness. Okay, you will be very eager. Okay. Then crumble means break into pieces. The houses crumble due to earthquake. Purr means make a soft sound like cat. The sound of cat is purring. The cat is purring. Grab means speak suddenly. The police grabbed the thief. Billowing means very loud noise. Apron means a piece of cloth that you wear over the front of your usual clothes in order to keep them clean. Especially when cooking, we wear apron. Okay, and also chemical laboratory. Also, when we are going to do different chemical operations, okay, chemical what we call experiments, we also wear apron. And also you can see the chicken cutter, mutton seller, they also wear apron. Okay, then handkerchief means rumal. I bought a handkerchief. Okay. Next, adventure means take a risk in the hope of a favorable outcome. Some people prefer a peaceful life to one of full of adventure. So some people prefer peaceful life, and some people also like a life which is full of adventure. Okay. Fantasy means situations that are not true that you just imagine. Those are called fantasy. Fantasy means situations that are not true that you just imagine. Sometimes we live in fantasy. You can see here picture of a flying what we call jackal. Okay, this is a fantasy only. Okay, homesick means longing for home and family while absent from them. He left his job because he was homesick. He can't live without his family. Okay, bow means bend one's knee or body, lower one's head. Okay, the children bowed to the audience after the dance. Okay, dance competition was being conducted somewhere, and after completion or performance of dance, the children bowed their head to the audience. Okay, we also bow our head to our teacher when we greet good morning or good afternoon. Okay, we also bow our head. Okay, near our on after our elder persons, right? Our parents. Several means different, various. Several people injured in the accident. Okay. Next is in vain means without success, no result. The fireman tried in vain to put out the fire. That means the fireman tried so much, but he was not able to what we call put out the fire. Okay, that is in vain. Means no result. Dining table means a table on which meals are served in a dining room. You can see picture of dining table. Throw a tablecloth over the dining table. Someone is telling to someone to throw a tablecloth over the dining table. Diameter means a straight line passing through the center of a circle and connecting 2 points on the circle. Okay. So diameter you can see the teacher asked his students to measure the diameter of the circle. Stroke means touch lightly and repeatedly as with brushing motion. Okay. Usually we when we have some pet animals we stroke them, right? The master stroke his pet dog. You can see in the picture the master is stroking. Okay, his her pet dog, not his. Actually she's a lady, so the master is a, the master stroked her pet dog. Next, drop means let fall to the ground. Okay, don't drop the baby. Discover means determine the existence or presence or fact of something. जैसे कि Ronton, Ron, Rontgen discovered X-rays. Okay. However means despite of anything. He was feeling very ill. However, he went to school. Overtake means to cross someone. He overtook the bus. Okay. Okay. Now we will go through the story. Gulliver's Travels. On the 16th of June 1730, we discovered land. Our captain sent a dozen men with vessels for water, if any could be found. When we came to land, we saw no river or spring, nor any inhabitants. I went on to explore. The country was barren and rocky. I turned back to join the crew, only to see them getting into the boat and rowing. So this is the incident of 16th of June 1730, on which day Gulliver, along with his team members, okay, had traveled to a country which was barren, okay, which was rocky. There was no river. When the captain sent, okay, 12 peoples, a dozen of men, 12 people, a dozen of men to collect water, okay, with vessels, they found no river, no spring on that land. Okay, that was barren and rocky land. But Gulliver was interested to explore the land, to find out what is there and what is not there in the land. Okay, when he returned back to join the crew, he saw that the crew, that means the team members, were rowing and returning back, getting back into the boat because a large creature, a huge creature was chasing them. Okay, you can see here A huge creature was chasing them. Before I could reach them, I observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea as fast as he could. The water of the ocean reached only to his knees, so the creature was so high that the water of the ocean was only reached till his knees. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. The speed of the boat was very high as compared to the monster, so the monster was not able to overtake the speeding boat or reach the speeding boat. Okay, I turned back quickly and climbed up a steep hill with fields of barley on either side and the corn rising up to 40 feet. So Gulliver got surprised. Okay, he was frightful. So he climbed up a steep hill where in one side there was barley and in the other side there was a corn whose height was up to 40 feet. Okay, the height of corn. Okay, there was a fence to pass from one field to the other. So I think must Gulliver must try to okay move across the fence. Let's see what happens. It was impossible for me to climb because every step was 6 feet high, but he was not able to climb because every step of the fence was 6 feet high. I was trying to find a gap in the heads when I discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. So he saw that the another creature was approaching him. That means coming near him. So he tried to find a gap in the heads, but he was, but he could not find. Okay, sorry, he found, and he hide there. Okay, we'll see in the next para. He was of the same size as the creature chasing the boat. He was also a giant farmer, right? I was struck with utmost fear and astonishment and ran to hunt myself in the heads, okay, in the gap in the heads. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. It sounded like thunder. So the creature was very tall, okay, very huge. So his sound was just like thunder and more than louder than trumpet. 7 monsters like him came towards the field ready to reap the corn. Not only he, there were also 7 other monsters who were coming towards the field to reap the corn. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. You can see in the picture reaping hook. Okay, they were carrying reaping hook. They were carrying reaping hook to reap the corn, as we carry reaping hook to reap grains. Okay, rice we also use reaping hook. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. When one of the reapers approached where I lay hidden, I screamed as loud as I could. So Gulliver found that a creature, one of the 7 monsters, one monster came near him. Okay, where he was hiding. The monster came. When the monster approached him, that means came near Gulliver. Gulliver screamed as loud as because he was frightful. He was frightful. The creature stopped ripping, picked me up between his thumb and forefinger, and brought me close to his eyes, 6 feet above the ground. When the creature heard the sound of Gulliver, he picked Gulliver with his thumb and forefinger and brought Gulliver to his eyes, close to his eyes. Okay, you can see in the picture, 60 feet over the ground, above the ground. Okay, the eye of the creature was 6 feet, 60 feet above the ground. That means how tall was the creature, you can imagine. He looked at me with curiosity and blew my hair aside to get a better view of my face because he had never seen such a tiny man like Gulliver. So he was interested to look at Gulliver with curiosity. He tried to look at him with curiosity to find a better view. He blew Gulliver's hair aside. He called his friends and gently placed me on the ground. They all sat on the ground. Okay, all the friends and the creature, that means the monster, sat on the ground and to take a good look at me. I walked slowly backward and forward. Why did Gulliver walk slowly backward and forward? To show them that he is alive, he is not dead, he is not a toy, right? So he walked slowly backward and forward, pulled off his hat, and made a low bow towards the farmer. He also pulled off his hat to show respect He also made a low bow towards the farmers, the giants. I tried to speak to them loudly in several languages because Gulliver was not aware about the language which was used by the giants. Okay, he did not know in what language they were talking. So Gulliver tried to speak them in several languages. Okay, but all were in vain. No one could understand Gulliver. Each time I did so, the farmer who picked me up held his ear very close to me, but in vain. He could not understand the talking of Gulliver. Okay, the words of Gulliver. What Gulliver was telling, he could not understand. The creature, the giant, could not understand. The farmer took me to his house and placed me at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. So he took Gulliver to his house and he placed Gulliver on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. The height of the dining table was 30 feet high from the floor. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. So the diameter of the dish was 10 feet. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. In the middle of the dinner, I heard a noise behind me, and that was the sound of purring of a cat. Purring means the sound made by cat. That is called purring. So I heard the purring sound of a cat. Okay, that was 10 times larger than an ox. The size of the cat was 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife was stroking the cat. Okay, then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. As the child might have thought that Gulliver was a toy, so he put Gulliver's head into his mouth. But when he put Gulliver's head into his mouth, Gulliver shouted so loudly because Gulliver was frightful and the baby dropped him. Okay, when Gulliver shouted, the baby dropped him. I would have broken my neck if the mother had not held her apron under me. Okay, the mother held her apron under Gulliver. That's why Gulliver saved his neck. Otherwise, Gulliver's neck would have been broken. Okay, students, now we will discuss some multiple choice questions. I think you can answer. First one, the giant carried a reaping hook because he was fighting with the other giants. He was going to reap the corn. He wanted to frighten Gulliver. The correct option is he was going to reap the corn. Okay. Next one. They put Gulliver on the ground to look at him because they had never seen a human before. They thought he was a doll. They had never seen such a tiny man. Yes, the last option is correct. They had never seen such a tiny man because they were giants, right? MCQ. Next question. Gulliver was a farmer, sailor, dwarf, giant. So Gulliver was a sailor. Yes, Gulliver was a sailor. Next question. Right, true or false? The monster was able to overtake the speeding boat. It's false because the monster was not able to overtake the speeding boat. The cat was 20 times larger than an ox. It is also false because the cat was only 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife was very cruel. No, it's also false because the farmer's wife was very kind, right? The giant looked at Gulliver with curiosity. Yes, it's true. The giant looked at Gulliver with curiosity because he had never seen such a tiny man like Gulliver before. Gulliver tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. Yes, this is also correct. Gulliver tried to speak to them loudly in several languages because he was not aware about the language which was used by the giants. So he tried to speak them in several languages. Correct the use of the describing words in the following sentences. This is the simpler problem of them all. So here, simpler will be corrected as simplest. This is the simplest problem of them all. You can see the is there. Okay, and it is the comparison among more than two things. So superlative degree will be here. So superlative degree of simple is simple, simpler, simplest. So this is the simplest problem of them all. Which is the lightest of the two parcels? Here comparison is between two parcels, so it will be comparative degree. Okay, so latter will be the correct option, the correct answer. Okay, comparative degree will be here. Which is the lighter of the two parcels? He is cleverer than I am. He is cleverer than me. Okay, the correct answer will be he is cleverer than me. I like this the best of the two. I like this better of the two because when we compare between two things or two people, we use comparative degree. So comparative degree of best is better, good, better, best. The flood became better as the rain increased. The flood became worse as the rain increased because the comparative degree of bad is worse. And here the comparison is between two things, flood and rain. Okay, so we can say the food became worse as the rain increased. Next, from the text, write sentences that tells you the following. The giant reapers were fascinated by Gulliver. Okay, they all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. That means they were fascinated. Okay, Gulliver was a learned man. You can say, I tried to speak to them in several languages, not seven, several. Okay, this is printing mistake. You can correct students. That will be several. I try to speak them to them in several languages. Okay, from this line we can know that Gulliver was a learned man. He had the mastery of different languages, right? The farmer's son thought Gulliver was a toy. Yes. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. This line means that the farmer's son thought Gulliver was a boy. Sorry, was a toy. The farmer's wife was a kind-hearted man. Yes, later she put me on her own bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. This line tells us that the farmer's wife was very kind-hearted. Next, some comparisons. As light as a feather, as slow as a tortoise, as sweet as honey, as white as snow, as strong as an ox, as cold as ice, as red as rose, as warm as a toast, as gentle as a breeze, bracket as a black as a night, as tall as giraffe, as fast as cheetah, as high as sky, as tiny as ant, as angry as lion, as brave as soldier. Then degrees of adjectives. When we compare two things or people, we add er or more. If the word is of one syllable, then we will add er. If the word is of more than one syllable, then we use more. When we compare three or more things, people, okay, we add est or most. When you compare between or among more than two things or two peoples, we use superlative degree. You can see here the chart: positive, comparative, superlative. 3 degrees of adjective. Positive degree first, comparative faster, superlative fastest, fast, faster, fastest, slow, slower, slowest, big, bigger, biggest, tiny, tinier, tiniest. Okay, you can read all the others. Small, smaller, smallest, light, lighter, lightest, high, higher, highest, heavy, heavier, heaviest, good, better, best, difficult, more difficult, most difficult, bad, worse, worst, worst, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, clever, cleverer, cleverest, intelligent, more intelligent, most intelligent, bright, brighter, brightest. Next, can you say what is an autobiography? Give an example of autobiography. When a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. Wings of Fire is the autobiography of Abdul Kalam. Okay, who was Gulliver? Where did he belong to? Lemuel Gulliver, first a surgeon and then a captain of several ships. He belonged to Nottingham in England. When did the crew discover the barren land? The crew discovered the barren land on 16th June 1730. What kind of people did Gulliver meet there? Gulliver met a huge creature with 7 giants. Okay. How was the monster's appearance? The monster was huge and the water of the ocean reached only till his knees. Why did the captain send the men to the land? The captain sent the men to the land to see if any water could be found to bring water, okay, with the vessels. Why did the men rush back into the ship? The men rushed back to the ship because they saw no river spring or any inhabitants on the land, and a giant chased them. Why it was impossible for Gulliver to climb upon the fence? It was impossible for him to climb upon the fence because he was very short and every step for fence was 6 feet high. Why did the giant carry a reaping hook? The giant carried a reaping hook to reap corn. What did the giant creature should sound like to Gulliver? The giant sounded like thunder. While Gulliver was trying to find a gap in the heads, what did he discover? He discovered one of the inhabitants is in the next field. He discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. Why did Gulliver scream with fear? When one of the giants approached where Gulliver lay hidden, he screamed to fear. He screamed with fear. What did the creature do with Gulliver? Okay, 1 minute, students. What did the creature do with Gulliver? The creature picked up Gulliver with his thumb and forefinger and brought too close to his eyes, blew his hair aside to get a better view of his face. He called his friends to see him. Next, why did Gulliver try to speak them in several languages? Gulliver was a learned man. He was not aware about the languages used by the monsters or giants, so he tried to speak them in several languages. Gulliver heard a sound in the middle of the dinner. What was that sound? It was the purring of a cat. Okay, it was the purring of a cat, which was 10 times larger than an ox. How old was the farmer's son? What did he do with Gulliver? The farmer's son was 1 year old son. He grabbed Gulliver from the dining table and put Gulliver's head into his mouth. By thinking him as a toy. Why did the child put Gulliver's head into his mouth? Because he was thinking Gulliver a toy. The giant's wife was kind. How did you know? The giant's wife had held her apron under Gulliver, which saved him from breaking off his neck. Again, she put him on her own bed and covered him with a clean handkerchief. It signifies that she was a kind lady. How would we have gone back to his home? He might have gone back to his home with the help of farmer's wife. Okay, he might have gone back to his home with the help of the farmer's wife. Can you see from which book has this storybook have been taken? Who is the author of that book? Yes, the story has been adapted from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travel. Okay, students. So we discussed the chapter. That this was an interesting story. I think you might have enjoyed the video. Okay. So wish you all the best. Keep learning. Keep growing. Thank you.